God's will. I believe I've told you all this story, but I'll tell you again. There's this woman that I go to church with. She's just had her 5th child on the kitchen floor. I believe it's her 5th. Yeah, you can do that shit when you do it right. You know, when you're young and you have eggs that are pretty good, you're not waiting a ridiculous amount of time to have a baby. Like, I'm 40. I know that I could have a baby if, like, I really, really wanted to. Like, if that's God's will, that's God's will. But I just never felt like it was. But who knows? Who knows? I don't think that that's what His will is for me. Because I feel like if that were to happen, it would have already happened when it makes sense to have a baby. So I see all these women in my church, they're young and they have a bunch of children, and you know, they're bouncing back. They're bouncing back. They don't have no baby fat because they're doing it sensibly, you know? So this woman that I'm talking about, she said that when she gives birth, it's like the most gratifying thing in the world because she knows that she's doing the will of God. And I told her, like, that's exactly how I feel when I do stand-up. And I'm really feeling that more and more. So even if I'm up there on stage and it's just terribly awkward and I seem like I'm not having fun, because let's face it, I'm probably not. And the audience isn't having fun either because, you know, they're like, why the fuck am I here? Why did I get myself into this shit? Why am I fucking this person that dragged me here? You know? I need to stop fucking them. And, you know, see, I could say something like that. If I'd said something like that tonight, it would have worked. And they would have all laughed. But I don't know if it's a case of, like, because I have confidence that in what people find funny and what they don't find funny. But, like, I don't have that same level of, like, self-assuredness when I'm on stage. Like, I don't have the same confidence with the audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have the confidence with me. Like, when I'm looking back on something and I'm like, oh, this would have worked, or if I had just said this, or if I had said this in a completely different way, you know, they would have gotten it. Or, but I mean, maybe that's bullshit. You know, that's my ego talking. But I do know for a fact that the self-deprecating stuff really works, like when you're bombing, but also, you know, to sort of mock the audience for not understanding and then to say something that's probably true. Like, if you make an observational statement, it tends to win people over because they can't deny reality. That's why if you say something about the other comics, it can be positive. Most of the time it's negative because comics are very narcissistic. And if they don't have enough material, they talk about somebody else's material. They talk about somebody's outfit, or, hey, look at that guy in the weird hat. I noticed that nobody said anything about my hat tonight. I think it's gotten to the point with me that people just expect me to be weird. So, even though my existence is the joke that keeps on joking, it's probably a little old hat. Get it? So, yeah, like when I first started, like, everybody was making fun of me. Like, after me, any comic that went up after me would talk about something that I said. And there would be comics that would go way later than me that would talk about me. Like, I remember just watching other comedians. I get multiple shout outs, and that is a compliment. It's also kind of annoying, but I wish that people had more to say. But back to God's will. I know that to do it, regardless of how it feels, regardless of how it comes across, regardless of whether they laugh or not, whether they get it or not, whether they pay attention or not. I mean, they were paying attention. That's why they didn't get it, you know? You're like, what the fuck is she doing? So yeah, a lot of the time I get the same kind of feedback that the talking heads got in the beginning of their career. People just had no idea what the hell they were doing. And I'm not trying to compare myself to the talking heads. Like, I kind of just did, but I said that, like, that's kind of the coolest reaction that you can get. You know, like people paying attention and just being really confused. But at least they're not on their phones. At least they didn't walk out. You know, they're not talking to somebody at the bar or smoking weed out back. You know, so like, it's like, I mean, I really appreciate that. Like, something else I said tonight that kind of struck me is like, whoa, like, oh yeah, it's quiet up here. It's never quiet when I'm with myself. See, I'm just always analyzing everything and reanalyze everything. Exactly. I talk a lot. I talk really fast. I probably sound like I'm in a manic state most of the time. I might just be, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's my state of mind. It's my state of mind. I can be in whatever state of mind I want to be in. You know? If I want to do drugs for the rest of my life, I can do drugs for the rest of my life. If I want to be sober for the rest of my life, I'll be sober for the rest of my life. You know? It's like, people give way too much of a fuck about what another person's perspective is. I mean, we definitely see this with social media and politics and all that, but it's just true. I mean, especially with the psych meds, like, somebody left several disparaging remarks. Obviously, they were really offended by everything that I represent. But they said something about my comedy set. They were like, you seem like you're in a manic state, or like you would benefit from antipsychotics or some shit like that. And I said something, and like, he never responded. This is what kills me about these motherfuckers. I responded to every one of his mean comments, right? Very positive. I liked his comment. I gave him a little thumbs up. I gave him a thumbs up. And I, you know, was pretty positive. Aside from the psych meds, I was like, no, I'm not a pansy. I don't take psych meds. I'm not a pansy. I said that. That probably is what did it. But yeah, like, anytime that somebody's just like crazy, like anytime that somebody is just like letting it all hang out, it's like people think they need to be subdued. Why? Why? Am I hurting anybody? Am I hurting anybody? Am I hurting myself? No. I'm making art. Might not be very good, but so what? Am I hurting anybody else? Like, for real, for real? Am I like stabbing anybody, shooting anybody? Oh no, did I make you think? Did I make you think, son? Is that what happened? Holy shit. I can't imagine how hard your life must be if this this is what gets to you. I mean, seriously, like this is what the psych meds have done to people. Psych meds, the social media, the politics, the food, the water. It's like just turn everybody so fucking gay. Like they're so sensitive. Like they cannot handle any like alternative opinion. But I mean, like the audience tonight, they were cool. They didn't say anything. At least they didn't fucking heckle, you know? It's like people leaving mean comments, that's their way of heckling. Like, how dare you have these opinions that I find disagreeable? How dare you not be me? That's a narcissist thing, too. And, like, yeah, you see that with artists a lot. With artists, with relationships. Really, all relationships are like this, where you see other people as an extension of yourself. And whenever they don't act accordingly, then you take it personally, and you still refuse to take any responsibility for the fact that you were the one that insisted that they were whatever you thought they were. You know? People need to take personal responsibility, and if they don't, they're useless people. Okay? Like, I know my opinions are pretty harsh. You don't have to tell me that. I know that shit. But I'm right. I'm right about people. And I want what's best for society. I'm a utilitarian. Do you know what the fuck that is? No, you don't. Because it's the only philosophy that makes any fucking sense. It's where you look out for the greater good. You know, example of this, picking up litter. Helping people any chance you get. You know, the reason why people believe in stupid fucking politicians that rape children is because they're lost. They're lost in, like, how to help people on a regular basis. You know, like, how to do things in the community, how to do things for strangers, how to do things for themselves. You know, if you trust a psychiatrist, like, you obviously don't know how to trust yourself to get out of whatever situation you're in mentally, emotionally, psychologically. You know, I get that life is rough, but it's like, if you're the one that's having the experience that's, like, debilitating, if you're the one that's, like, going through what you're going through, that's up to you to figure it out. It's up to you to understand it and get to the bottom of it. I mean, people wouldn't be so sensitive and they'd be able to take criticism if they could just face themselves. I don't think that people, like, critique themselves enough. So if they don't critique themselves, then, like, anything and everything that they disagree with is going to be falsely interpreted as a form of criticism. And because of that, we live in a society comprised of a bunch of fucking pansies that don't want to do anything that's within their power to do. Like, get the fuck off their phone and make some shit. Okay? If I can do it, you can do it, sweetheart. Because what I do is not even good, so... I mean, I think it is. I think it's good for what it is, but, I mean, if you compare it to, like, serious content creators, you know, like, they edit their stuff. They don't just put some $200 camcorder on top of a dashboard resting on a pile of clothes and drive around yelling, you know?
I know how this comes across, okay? You don't have to tell me. A lot of them don't tell me, they just fucking leave. Yeah. Holy shit, it's so hot right now, you guys. Yeah. I think I might play another song in the next video.